Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has sent a letter to the Chief Clerk of the Central Criminal Court, Old Bailey in London, to intervene on the matter concerning the former Deputy President of the Nigerian Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, and his wife, who are currently facing charges. Senator Ekweremadu was found guilty of an organ trafficking plot after they brought a 21-year-old man to the UK from Lagos. The former president, in the letter, wants the chief clerk to use his position and consider the good relationship between the Nigerian government and that of the United Kingdom to call on the court to temper justice with mercy, especially because of their daughter who needs medical attention. The former president said he hopes Senator Ekweremadu and his wife have learned their lessons from what has happened to them and will continue to be of good conduct to their community and country in general. Well, joining us to shed more light on this developing issue is UK Solicitor Olufemi Aino. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Yes, thank you.
Great to see you. Thank you.
I wonder what your first impression was when you read that letter and how you situate that letter with the matter in court, especially when he used the term temper justice with mercy.
Well, you know, that letter is impactful, and people have various reasons for writing judges. You may write as a victim, you may write on behalf of the defendant. And what Obasanjo did is to write on behalf of the defendant. But sometimes you do have situations where the victim of a crime write a letter to a judge, especially when it comes to sentencing. And normally, in UK and other countries, they call it victim impact statement, right, whereby the crime committed by the accused person, what has been the effect on their life. That, look, this is a loved one, this is my daughter, you put a knife through my heart, and they use all sorts of emotions. And it helps the judge to determine what sentence to pass. But it's not limited to that alone. Here we have a situation where Obasanjo, even though the letter was addressed to the clerk doesn't have the power to sentence anybody anyway. The letter is going to be passed to the judge. Yeah. But the mistake here, it will have been better. The letter is addressed to the solicitor for the Ekweremadus, because there is going to be a sentencing hearing. And it is during that hearing, any character witness who want to testify about what they've done in the past, the type of person they are, what have you, that's when you now present the letter. Or in the alternative, I know in Nigeria, because the professional conduct rule prevents you from writing a letter to the judge directly. But in UK, it's not a big deal. People write letters to judges, judges write lawyers. Even while sitting here, I have email of so many judges because maybe there is a case going on. The judge is reading the papers the night before, and he wants you to clarify, or if something is missing in his file. He can easily write both of you that if one of you can send the document and what have you. So it's not very unusual, but that's not the determinant here. The question remains, why sentencing the Ekweremadu? The judge is going to, one, consider the sentencing guidelines. That is one. There is also what we call the sentencing code the judge has to take into account. And secondly, any representation on behalf of the defendant, the counsel for the defendant, the character witness, but most importantly, what we don't know about this case is that sometimes we used to get what we call pre-sentence report, which will be prepared by the probation service. You see, what the essence is that, do you, that defendant, do you have an insight into what happened? That is one. And then what is the risk of reoffending? That is another issue. And in this Ekweremadu case, you see, it's just unfortunate the matter gets to this stage. Because if you look at the evidence from the beginning, it begs the question, why did they not even plead guilty at the first instance? Because number one, we have evidence that a letter was written by the Ekweremadu to the British High Commission trying to get a visa for this man, this gentleman, and then so many other things. But you see, there is something which I just want your viewers to know. When you do see sort of criminal cases in the UK, at a point, the prosecutor and the defense, you go in a room to meet the judge. And you can ask the judge, because you are advising the client that, look, what do you want to say about this? What do you want to say about this? I want to ask the prosecutor for something. We always call it indication hearing. It's not a hearing per se, indication discussion with the judge. The prosecution will be there, you will be there as the defense. And you ask the judge that, look, if Mr. Ekweremadu plead guilty, how many years are you going to give him? And the judge can tell you that, look, under the sentencing code, he will get a discount because Section 73 of the code actually said for early guilty plea, you must give them a discount. And the judge can say, look, looking at the whole circumstances, I might give him 3 years. But if you fight and you are found guilty, I might give you 8 years. So you now go back to the client, have a discussion with him that, look, looking at all this, you have a choice. You either plead guilty and you get the 3 years. When you get there, you will serve half. With good conduct, there will be a parole hearing. Then you get on with your life. But if you fight, the judge has said this is what is going to give you. But, you know, clients being what they are, they might say, look, I still want to fight this. I didn't do this. And the most disturbing aspect about this Ekweremadu case is that even Mr. Ekweremadu himself, when he entered the witness box, you see, let me reverse a bit. In the UK, there are certain things people need to learn. And it's very unfortunate. They carry their bag, they jump in the plane, they say they are going to London, they are going to America, then they come back. They don't even learn the culture of that country. That, look, there are certain things you must not do.
Right.
One. Number two, if you do it, how do you address it? And number one, what is very important, do you even have insight into your conduct? That is the most important. Majority of people I represent are people facing deportation here and there. And it will interest you. Even just a few weeks back, we had this case, we are talking about brain drain. Some of them are using this fake bank statement. Somebody helped them boost accounts. And then they get a visa that they are going as a student. Having arrived in UK, it was then they now discover that the bank statement used to get the visa was a fake one. Wow. And there was a letter written that, look, there is something we always call fairness letter. There is a case called by Gilari that when you want to deport them or cancel their visa, you must give them an opportunity to make representation. And the letter was written to the client that we want to cancel your visa because evidence has come to light that you use a fake bank statement to arrive in UK and this and that. Okay. Now, but the issue is this. Nigeria has this ability of blaming third party, that it was my agent, it was this agent, it was this. But that's not the issue. At the end of that visa form, there's a declaration that everything presented is the truth.
Oh,
yes.
The truth.
Yes.
Exactly.
Even if you are assisted by a third party.
Because the person would have done it on your behalf.
On your behalf.
Yes.
And you signed the form.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see, so at that moment, you can't say, no, it's Mike that helped me. No. The person, the decision maker, we should see that you don't have an insight into what you have done. And that is the problem in this Ekweremadu case. And it will even interest you that, look, don't worry. You know what we're going to do? It has happened. It has happened. But why they must not deport you is what we will talk about. And then I'm a lot wiser now. Though it was the agent, but I still take responsibility because I presented the form. Bet me and you, just last night, I got an email that they are not removing them again. Okay? It's just because that insight is there. And you've taken responsibility for your action.
Yeah.
And if you see what Ekweremadu is saying, that people took advantage of me, I did it because of my daughter. Now, you see, I've seen people saying, oh, you know, parent this and that.
Yeah.
So if your wife give birth to a child, a deformed child that has no leg, You will say, because I want my child to work, you will go and kidnap another person's child so that they can cut the leg and use it. And you will say, I did it because, you see, it's a crime. And that is another problem. In the witness box, for a reason which I don't know, because when defendant or client enter a witness box, a lot happened there.
Yeah.
Their head can just go off and they are offline. Ekweremadu was presenting himself as a man of limited intelligence. Look, lo and behold, the prosecution will make a mess of you if you go on that route. Number one, you are a lawyer. Number two, you are in private practice for some years. Then number three, you are a legislator.
Exactly.
And then what will surprise you, you are even a visiting professor. So do you see?
It compounds
the odd thing. By the time you start going on that route, you will know you are going to be found guilty. There is no doubt. And if you even come into a British court and they realize you're a powerful person and using your power to oppress people, you will not get away lightly. That's another thing.
Right.
Let's not even talk about the issue of assent, whereby, if you listen to Ekweremadu, he's an Igbo man. You can feed the thick accent while communicating with you. Most of the white, how many of them even hear what he's saying? Even though I've been there for years. When I talk to them, sometimes they will say, oh, Mr. Enoch, can you speak slowly so that we can? Because some people call Pepe. Some say Pepe. Do you get the gist of it?
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to, these little things. They will have worked on him to make sure that he's communicating. And then when you start coming and they start looking at you, he was even at a point during the cross-examination trying to present himself as somebody who is not very wealthy. At the end of the day, we have this EFCC for official case where they seize about 40 properties. And you are saying you don't even have the money. And the prosecutor was even asking you that why did you not even look for a family member to provide your daughter with the kidney? And then the argument was you've been shopping around the world, going to India, Turkey, looking for people who can donate. You see, that's why the evidence was just all over him like a bad rash. And you didn't even take the bull by the horn and say, look, let me quickly plead guilty. So what the judge is going to do during the sentencing is to find out what is the level of harm. Is it high, medium, or the lower level?
All right. We'll need to quickly go on a break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. A UK solicitor, Olufemi Aina, was speaking to us with regards to the letter former President Obasanjo wrote to the UK court handling the case of Ike Ekweremadu. And before we went on the break, you were talking about the level of risk, whether it is high, whether it is low, whether it's medium. We wanted to shed more light on that.
Yes, first of all, what the judge is going to, what are the aggravating features in this case? Even the sentencing guideline puts high risk, medium, and the lower risk. But first of all, there are so many aggravating features here. Number one, the man we are talking about is a lawyer himself. So there will be, the prosecution are going to say, look, you should have known better. And the judge is likely to agree with that. Number two, you're a wealthy man, irrespective of what you are trying to portray. And you, because you have that power, you have the money, then you use that not to exploit this gentleman so as to get him to UK. And again,
and he's even a lawmaker.
You are even a lawmaker. Then, and the appalling aspect, then they came up with this idea that whether this boy was 15 or 10 or whatever, the judge even ignored all that. Because even from your clip, you put his age as 21. So what happened in those cases is very simple. You get a pediatrician. The pediatrician, they have a way, they will test your bone and this, and they can use that to determine your age. And sometimes there are cases where there is an age dispute, and the judge is going along the line that is an adult. And another thing is that even if you come up that is a child, you even have an issue with that because they become more vulnerable at that stage. So you see, when you having look at all those things, then it may well be he will get a higher period of imprisonment than the wife. Because you see, there is a what you call the level of plea, that what is the degree of involvement of each individual. And don't forget, some people career on the line because of this case. You know, you have that medical doctor. He's going to lose his license and so many other, and is going to go to prison at the same time. So you see, it's just unfortunate. And people need to be very careful. What you do in Nigeria, you can't do it up there and you think you will get away. Just a little error of judgment can cause all sorts of problems. And ability to say no is very essential if you are a professional, because you will get people who will try to compromise you. You will get people who will try to give you a gift so as to compromise your professionalism. And I must say this to you. When I sit in my office in London, even in Lagos, where I assist them because of election, whatever, I've been around for a while, you will discover they come up with all these ludicrous requests that if you do it, you can lose your license. You can be in problem. Even, I'll tell you an instance. A few years back, I know this lady. I've known her for years in UK when I was working as a kitchen porter and what have you. And I know the daughter, because I was very frequent, you know, because, you know, I'm not going to say because I'm on TV. I was even looking for a British citizen to marry so that I can get my stay. So I was showering the daughter with gifts and everything. So, you know, we get used to each other. She's from St. Kitts or somewhere. Now, some years later, she's now an adult. She walked into the office with her friend that a friend was trying to obtain a British passport. And you know, to get a British passport, a doctor, lawyer has to sign. And I said, her name is Steffi. I said, look, Steffi, I know you. I've known you for years. But this is your friend. I've just known her for the last 30 minutes. And if you read this passport, it's clearly written that if you are countersigning the passport, you must have known the person for 2 years.
Not less than 2 years. And you now
want me to sign? I can't do that. You could see the countenance. She was upset because the mother too was there. So I can't sign. But if it's you, I will sign because I've known you for
a long time.
Yeah.
Now they left. Bet me and you. 3 days later, the lady was arrested in Brazil for carrying drugs. I'm telling you. So that was their intention, to use that passport in order to travel, to carry, and the V2. Both of them.
And that would have implicated you.
No, that would put you in trouble. So you see, if you're a professional, ability to say no is very important. And that's why when you go to all this law school, they tell you, don't take gift from the client. When they give me, I take it, but I say next time, don't give me again. And in most cases, it doesn't even fit. It's either they buy you a shirt, they misjudge your height and what have you, that don't give me again. Because one day they are going to come and ask you to do one silly thing, and they can put you in trouble. If Ekweremadu has said, look, I don't think this can work. Let's do it the other way. Maybe it will not be in this mess. And if care is not taken, it's going to be deported anyway, because by law, if you are sentenced to a period of imprisonment that is more than 12 months, automatic deportation comes in. Under the same Modern Slavery Act, which he was convicted upon, the judge can make human trafficking prevention order against him. Because, and there's a possibility, the judge will go along that route because the daughter is still is sick and is still in UK, and there's a possibility they will still be looking for a donor to help the lady. So that possibility of making that order is still there. And the other problem is that if there is a deportation order hanging, you cannot enter a country until that deportation order is revoked. So, you know, it's just unfortunate for him. And he still has the EFCC for official case about all his properties. That one is still going. So the whole thing is coming today, and so many things is coming to light now. So what I'm saying, the nut and bolt of my point, is that people need to be very careful. Little things can cause you all sorts of problems. You are traveling. somebody come and say, oh, can you help me give this to my daughter in UK, blah, blah. I just tell them, look, sorry, I'm not here. I didn't come to Nigeria to be a courier. I won't take it. No, I throw it away. Because, you see, let's be very careful. Yeah. Because sometimes it doesn't happen now. It used to happen before. That, look, you get a passport here for your sister who is in UK. Then they give it to you that when you get there. By the time you get to the custom, for one reason or the other, they just pick you and say, let's check your luggage. They see the passport there. Then they pick on you that you are trying to fraudulent passport and what have you. So many things can happen. And a lot of people are in prison just because of that. And also, your documents. Be careful. Because there are some people who are looking for documents to use to get out of this country, especially now there is a cash crunch and what have you. So definitely they use it, they enter or they have problem. Then you too could even be guilty of facilitating the entry of an illegal person. And that can cost you up to 25 years imprisonment if you are not careful. So you see, there are all these little things people are not careful of. They are very important. People coming, giving you letters to go and deliver in UK, giving you documents, and then you don't even open them. And also, there's another one which is even common. Because some of them are using this bleaching cream. Then they send to you in Nigeria and say, oh, help me get it. When my friend is coming, can you help me bring it? They get to custom, and then there will be an issue. And some are in prison. Some are even smuggling cigarettes, buying benzene and hedges from Nigeria, recruiting people and say, look, we get you the visa, but you can help us, but don't carry any luggage apart from one skirt and blouse. Because what will be in the luggage, they are cigarettes. Because, you know, when they sell it there, they make this switch. Or, you know, there was one I even experienced. She was rushing back to Nigeria. My daughter is getting married tomorrow. Hey, what will I say? This, look, all these things doesn't happen. Now you've been caught. And don't forget, in those countries too, some of them, they know you are a criminal. They just let you go because they know you will come again. Because you see, and if you see some of this courier, they know. They will just say, no, don't apprehend him now. Let him go. Because something will tell him is so easy. They didn't even check me. But by the time you come again, then they get caught and then there will be issues. So people, Nigerians needs to be very careful. I'm not saying people should not migrate. Maybe if I don't migrate, I won't be here now. Who knows? But we have to be very careful and know that, look, things you do and get away in Nigeria, you can't do it there.
Elsewhere.
Any little things can cause a problem.
All right. This issue, you said that they had made, the Ekweremadus would have made a grievous mistake. But let's assume that for the sake of the purpose of knowledge now, insight and enlightenment, how best would they have handled this issue from the start?
No, well, if I'm the one advising him, number one, I would have just said to Clue, looking at all the evidence and what have you, just plead guilty. We can now talk to the judge to give you the discount and let you go. And the judge will be very happy with that. You will wait. Let's see the sentencing remark. It's going to say, even despite the evidence, you are still fighting on. Trying, you know, the judge knew something about him. That's why he didn't give him bail. Yeah. You know, there were, I think they made about 3 or 4 bail applications, and the judge refused. And don't forget, even in England, there are issues. It's not even in England alone. There are issues about we Nigerians. They don't, even, I gave evidence in a case as a character witness. And very powerful evidence, you know. And as I was walking out of the court, this Oyibo woman was at the bar. I said, yeah, it's good, but the problem is that we can't trust Nigerians. That was her comment. Then I now turn back, and you know the way they are getting shaky and say, oh, sorry, this and that. You see, those things, and you know the comment from David Cameron some years ago that Nigerians are fantastically corrupt or something. Yeah. You know, he didn't know the camera was on. So you see, there's that perception is there. And also, you know, what happened in Alagmasi Agba case, the judge is not, he will have said, look, this is a powerful man. And you know, the only reason why the judge didn't grant Ekweremadu bail, because the judge believed it's going to be a flight risk. And again, we are talking about exploitation here. Under the Modern Slavery Act of 2015, that you are trying to exploit this boy because he's a very vulnerable person. And the only reason why you are doing that, because you're a powerful person. You have money. You have position. You're a member of Obasanjo, as he stated in his letter, PDP some years ago. And even if you look at Baba Obasanjo letter, there's a paragraph there that Ekweremadu had this foundation called Ike Ekweremadu Foundation, which is used to help vulnerable people.
Exactly, since 1997.
And then you've been found guilty of exploiting vulnerable persons.
Exactly.
So whether that paragraph will help, let's leave that. Do you get my point? So you see, people need to think aloud. And the other issue, which we need to be very careful of, is that when you go, if you know you commit the crime, you must be ready to serve the time.
All right.
By pleading guilty as early as possible. But
All
if we go down, I will tell you that now. It's going to be dealt with severely. Take it now.
We'll have to leave the conversation here now. Barrister Olufemi, I know UK Solicitor, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.